Hi, everybody. Mark here with Couch Camino 2026, and we are at day 175. I leave for my sixth Camino de Santiago in 175 days, and as I promised, we're heading into the fun part of these little weekly updates. Today, we're going to do the general gear overview. Now, this is not going to have a TLDL, a too long didn't listen, because this is essentially the TLDL for what's coming up over the next month and a half. We're going to talk a little bit about all the gear. I've got my stuff out here on the table. And as we go forward in the coming weeks, we'll talk in granular detail about each of these little subcategories. Again, as usual, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below or shoot me an email at askmeacaminoquestion@gmail.com, and I will get back to you promptly, I hope. This week's episode is just brought to you by Diet Coke because I was too lazy to do anything else this week. So, there we go. Coke, Diet Coke and Coke Zero. Pretty prominent in Spain. No problem finding it. So, let's go through the gear you're going to need for your Camino. Let me preface this by saying if you're an experienced outdoors person, let me give you a very short recap so you can get out of here. Essentially, take lightweight, quick-drying tech clothes that you're comfortable walking long distances in. You don't need a whole lot of expensive stuff. There you go. So, for those of our friends out there who are this is your first Camino, maybe your first outside adventure sort of thing, let's talk about what you need. First of all, you're going to need clothing. I know, amazing, right? You don't want to get arrested, so wear some clothes while you're on Camino. After that, footwear. I have them on a paper towel because I actually wore these the other day. So footwear, rain gear, because no matter what, you're going to get rained on at some point. Sleep gear. You're going to need something in the albergues to keep you off of the mattresses and such. Most albergues, there is a rule. You will need a sleep sack like this or a sleeping bag. Shower gear. You're going to stink. You need to take a shower. You need your shower gear. Something to keep your phone alive or your other electronics alive. Backup battery, your cables, your charger. A cute little first aid kit. Nothing too serious. If you looked in my first aid on the Camino video I did, you know that there's very little in here. Any medications that you might need. Pack those along, put them in a Ziploc, however you choose to sort them. Go back and watch my health and such on the Camino video. I talk about traveling with medications, best practices, and then how I do it, because I don't use the best practices. You'll need something to keep your passport, your Camino credential, and other valuables in. I like little waterproof containers like this that can go into a security pocket or my pant pocket. If you prefer to use an underbelt or underclothing security pouch, nothing wrong with that. Just for me, they get a little sweaty. Hiking poles. I cannot recommend to use hiking poles enough. A lot of people don't think they need them. My very first Camino in 2017, I did not think they needed them. I need them. By Pamplona, I had bought a pair. Imagine if you have a backpack on and you're walking upstairs, or you're carrying a heavy weight, you're walking upstairs. If you're not allowed to use the handrails to help you balance and to help you use your upper body, it does make it a lot more challenging. Plus, on the Camino, when you're going downhill, being able to reach out with those hiking poles and get good footing before you step down really prevents a lot of injuries. Lastly, for all of this, you're going to need a backpack. Now, you notice I did the backpack last. That's because everybody who seems to get ready for a backpacking or a Camino adventure, they concentrate on the backpack first. You actually want to concentrate on your backpack last. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So what should you look for in all of this various stuff? First of all, it's your Camino. You're going to see a lot of videos, probably right down there under this one, that are from people saying, hey, this is the ultimate backpack. This is the ultimate, these are the ultimate shoes. This is the ultimate clothing for your Camino. Those are people that had a really good experience with their backpacks, with their shoes, with whatever equipment. They worked for them and they think they're great for everybody. They may not be. My first couple of Caminos, my backpacks, may not work for me now. They may not work for you. So, in general, you want good quality stuff, but by good quality, I don't mean expensive. If this is the one and only outdoor adventure thing you're going to do, don't spend a whole lot of money. Things like tech shirts. I like tech shirts that I buy at REI because they fit me well. But if this is going to be your only Camino or only outside thing that you're going to be doing for the foreseeable future, don't spend a bunch of money on this stuff. You can go to Academy, Walmart, Target, any of the big box stores. You can get tech clothing, tech shirts and such. During the holidays, you can get them for under $10. There's no reason to spend a whole lot of money on name brands like Under Armour, Architects, REI, any of that stuff. If you're not going to be using them a whole lot, don't spend the money on them. The one place I would say spend some money on is your footwear. You do want good quality footwear from let's say a reputable maker, and look for a company that has a decent track record for making outdoor equipment. And we're going to talk about shoes and boots next week, so that's all I'm going to say about these for now. So apart from not spending a whole lot, you should be able to equip yourself some skin out at a Walmart, a Target, or an Academy with appropriate stuff. And again, when we get to the shoes, the clothing, all of these things, we'll talk in granular detail about what to look at, but just broad strokes. You should be able to get yourself equipped, minus the backpack, minus your shoes, for like a couple $100. Or way under. There's just no reason to spend a lot on it. When you think about the Camino and what you need for the Camino, most people picture this. Backpack on, boots on, hiking poles in hand, hats on, we're going off to walk. That is the Camino, but it's only a third of your Camino. If you think about your Camino day as an 8-hour day, you've got, let's say, 8 hours of walking, 8 hours of sleeping. That leaves you with 8 hours just kind of hanging out. So, do you want to hang out in the same old Camino clothes you've been wearing over and over and over and over? Or, for just a little bit of additional weight, how about a polo shirt? A tech polo shirt? How about a sundress? How about something that feels a little less hikey and a little more, I'm visiting a great city? Because keep in mind, you're going to be in Pamplona, Logroño, Burgos, León, Ponferrada, Sarria. You're going to be in these big major cities. Sorry, not so major. You're going to be in these big major cities. They've got museums, restaurants, cathedrals to visit, all sorts of fun stuff to do. Maybe having something added to your pack that feels just a little more like I'm on vacation and a little less I'm just a hiker on the trail might be a nice addition. The other thing is, think about the season you're going to be going in. Now, when I've gone in January, February, it's been cold, it's been rainy. It's been an interesting experience. I love the cold and rain, so for me, it wasn't that big a deal. But unless you're going in high summer, where it's really hot all the time, consider just a little pullover to keep you a little bit warm. If you're going in January, you might want to take a puffy coat. You might want to add to your sleep sack in winter a hiking quilt. Now, these are things that unless I'm going in January or February, I'm not going to take these with me. They take up a lot of space in a backpack. They don't weigh a whole lot, but it is space in my backpack. So if I don't need to take them, I'm not going to take them. Also, like a little hat doesn't hurt. So let's look at this real quick. This is my puffy coat. Let's get this out real quick. That's like a cheap magic trick. This is it's from Enlightened Equipment. It's one of the warmest coats I have, and it kind of crumples up. It's kind of nice, but it's shiny. I mean, it's comfortable. It's very warm, but unless it's really cold, I find I don't need it. Instead of carrying this, here's what I do. I know from experience, all of my training, all of the hiking that I've done, that if I have my normal hiking clothes on, I put on this sort of fleecy jumper, pullover, and then I put on this Marmot Precip raincoat as a wind shell over it. This combo of things that I'm already going to be taking for rain and a little bit of comfort, particularly in the evenings when I'm out roaming around. I love having my fleecy pullover just to throw on. These two together, I can hike comfortably down to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. If I add, lost my hat. If I add a little merino wool hat and merino wool glovies, I can hike down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit very comfortably. In the evenings, I may get a little more chilly because I'm not moving, but being able to layer and combine your items, such as just you wearing your raincoat over a pullover or something, will give you that extra warmth without having to pack a big old silly coat. When it comes to your rain gear, and again, we're going to cover all of this in a more detailed way later. Think about your raincoat. A lot of people love things like ponchos, in particular the Alta poncho, which looks like this. Now, if we're in Burgos and I say, hey, let's go down to Pincho Street, let's get a little bit of wine, let's get some beer, let's get some pinchos, let's spend the night on the evening on the town. Would you rather wear that or just a nice little raincoat? Doesn't have to be orange, but it should be. I would prefer to have a rain system that doesn't look like I just wandered in off the Appalachian Trail. I'd rather have a rain system that I can use, walk into the train station when I'm going home, walk into the grocery store, walking around. It does more than just keep me dry like a poncho would. It allows me to use it on my down days when I don't want to wear a big silly poncho through the middle of Lyon when I'm going to the grocery store. So just think more about life on the Camino as that 8 hour walking on the trail. You do what you do. But the 8 hours you're sleeping, the 8 hours you're just hanging out, enjoying Spain. Craft your equipment list so you're comfortable doing the touristy stuff, because you're going to have so much time in those big cities. It's worth having that extra little bit of verve in your wardrobe and your equipment. As far as your toiletries and such, totally up to you. My shower bag, I will pack this when I leave. I may have to refill it as I go. Don't overpack it. And certainly, there is no need to get these silly dry bags, these silly things. You know, a bunch of Ziplocs work just fine. If you don't want to deal with this stuff, do that. It's an unnecessary expense if this is not something you're going to be kind of doing going forward. As I've said many times, you're walking city to city, village to village, town to town. Although somebody pointed out to me, you actually sometime are walking village to town, village to city, city to village. So, you know, there's some variation there, smart ass. But you can just about once a week find additional travel stuff to refill your shower bag. So don't pack a whole lot of stuff now. Keep it pretty minimal. This looks fairly large, but I have a beard. I'm a beardo, so I got stuff to take care of that in there. Your electronics. We're going to do a deep dive on electronics and such. I do carry a little backup battery. I carry a charger, a couple of cables, and such. Nothing too extreme. And I don't even carry that big of a backup battery because most everywhere I go, there's going to be a charging station. Most of the albergues now are getting real good about you'll have a light and a charging port or an outlet for your charger right there at your bed. So it is a little easier. You really don't need all of the extra stuff anymore. Again, very simple, very, very simple first aid kit. Your hiking poles. Do not buy expensive hiking poles. We'll go into hiking poles later. My first set of hiking poles, they were aluminums. I bought them in Pamplona. I think they cost me 29 euros at, so what, 35 bucks at a Camino shop. They worked great for me, and I think I upgraded to carbon fiber. I have a little bit of elbow injuries from martial arts, and the aluminum ones shocked my elbows a little bit, so I went to carbon fiber. Clyde used them on his Camino in 2018, so those things they have like, at this point, probably 750 miles on them, and they're just fine. There's no reason to go spend $200-300 on carbon fibers if this is your one and only. Your backpack. Let's talk about dual duty or multiple use on your backpack. I prefer backpacks that I can use as a carry-on. This one that I just showed you, this is a REI Flash 50. It's actually a little too big. It's the backpack that I use when I'm going in a cooler season, so I can take some extra stuff. But if you can get all of your stuff into a 40-liter backpack, and again, we're going to talk about backpacks and sizes. If you can get something that you are comfortable with, and it is compliant with the airlines for carry-on, why not just spend that little bit of money, get a decent backpack that you can carry on, and from your Camino forward, maybe use that as your carry-on instead of a wheelie bag. One of the weird little things about the Camino is because you are carrying everything with you, you learn exactly how much you don't need to survive in your life. I used to go with my wife, when we go on vacations, I would take a giant roller checked bag. I can now, after doing the Camino so many times and getting used to doing my laundry every couple of days and that, I'm pretty comfortable just throwing my stuff in a backpack and carrying it on. I just don't travel with that much stuff anymore. You may be different, but I'm just saying, don't spend a lot. Don't buy too big. Buy something you might be able to willing to use later as a gym bag or just a carry-on. So, let me check my notes here. All right, so really, this is about it. You really don't need a whole lot for the Camino. Just to recover, clothes, recover, cover again. Clothes, shoes, something warm, something to keep you dry, something to let you sleep, something to let you not stink anymore, your shower kit, something to keep your phone alive, something to keep you from bleeding, your drugs, something to keep your passport in, hiking poles, backpack. You really don't need more than that. We're going to talk when we get to transportation and backpacks. We're going to talk about other options, because if you're not planning on carrying your backpack, if you're going to use a backpack forwarding service like Jacotron's or one of the others, you know, a rolly carry-on bag could work for you, and then you just carry a day pack during the day. It's going to be completely up to you. Now, I have not included a hydration system in here. We kind of covered that in the hydration and the water segment. It's however you choose to do it. It doesn't add a whole lot of weight to this mess, so I didn't include it here. So, let's talk about, since we're talking about gear, let's talk about a favorite place. Off the top of my head, there's a chain of stores called Planet Water, Planet Agua. They are hiking stores that are found frequently on the Camino route. As a matter of fact, there's in day 2 or 3, depending on your stages. In Zubiri, there's one. Santo Domingo de la Calzada. There are plenty of them. If you look on Google Maps, you're going to find them. They have everything you might need. They're really friendly. They understand they're on the Camino for a reason. They're not going to gouge you on price. And they're they know what they're talking about. They're not just there to sell you stuff. They're there to sell you the right stuff. So if you do need some stuff, you see one of the Planet Aqua stores. As a matter of fact, in Santo Domingo de la Calzada, I think it's right next to the big religious albergue on the main street. You cannot miss it. There's a few other options like Decathlon. There's Decathlons in most of the big major cities. But just understand that any of this stuff along the Camino, at least once a week, you could replace all of this. I hope you don't, but you could. So that's about it for this week. This was essentially a shallow dive into this. Next week, we're going to talk about footwear. After that, I think we talk about clothing. And after that, I don't remember what order we're going in, but we're going to kind of drill down on this stuff a little more so you're not overpacking, you're not overthinking, and you're hopefully just get the best bang for your buck. And we're going to make your backpack as light as it can be, but as comfortable as it can be. So I will see you next week. No Camino news. Clyde's back. I'm ready to go. I'm literally ready to pack this stuff, get it in my backpack so I can start doing some walking. The weather's supposed to break next week, or this week. We're supposed to finally get into the 70s. So I think maybe on Thursday's video, I might take you guys for a walk for me. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, this is Mark with Couch to Camino 2026. We leave in 175 days, and I will see you later.